Hello everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to dive into a touching story, the emotional journey of Diep and Huyen, a couple separated by distance but bound together by love, hope, and faith. Through long, lonely roads and silent nights, we'll witness how Diep's determination and Huyen's patience keep their hearts connected, no matter how far apart they are. So, grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's feel this heartfelt story together. And if you enjoy it, don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss our next emotional stories. Dear friends, today we will embark on an emotional journey, a path where challenges and hope intertwine, where love and faith become the strength that helps one overcome all hardships. Today's story is about Diep, a man on a journey to return to his family, to keep his promise to Huyen and little Maya, the people he loves most. It will be a long, arduous journey, but Diep is not alone. Accompanying him is his old motorbike, a loyal companion that has traveled countless roads with him. Despite the scorching sun, the rain and wind, and the challenging paths ahead, Diep always believes that as long as he heads toward the place where his family awaits, every hardship becomes worthwhile. In a small house in a peaceful countryside village, Huyen, the woman of the house, sits by an old bamboo table. The warm morning sunlight streams through the window, illuminating the weathered walls worn by time. The space is so quiet that one can hear the gentle rustle of the wind passing through the bamboo groves outside. It appears serene, but inside Huyen's heart, a storm rages. Her eyes gaze toward the narrow dirt road leading to the village, now empty, no longer bearing Diep's familiar figure. His absence leaves a void that is hard to fill. The night before, she tried to stay strong, forcing a smile as she saw Diep off. But deep in her heart, worry surged relentlessly. She knows he must travel far, facing countless difficulties, yet she clings to a fragile hope that he will be safe amidst the overwhelming fears. A soft sound from behind startles Huyen. Maya, the little girl with eyes as clear as the sky after rain, stands by the table, clutching her worn teddy bear. Her small voice, simple yet piercing, tugs at Huyen's heart. "Mommy, where did Uncle Dieu go?" That innocent sound, though pure, echoes like a knife cutting into the mother's longing. Maya isn't used to Diep's absence. To her, Diep is not just uncle, but a friend, the one who brings laughter, the warmth of family. Huyen turns around, forcing a smile, fragile, like the morning dew. She strokes her daughter's hair, trying to hide the worry flooding her eyes. "Uncle Diep is just gone for a little while, sweetheart. He'll be back soon." Maya nods, but her innocent gaze still holds a trace of confusion. She doesn't yet understand why someone so familiar has gone far away. She only knows the house feels emptier now. Huyen pulls her daughter to sit beside her. The two sit together, silently looking out at the yard, where bamboo branches sway gently in the breeze. The wind brushes through their hair, carrying the scent of fresh rice fields and the warmth of the sun. But in Huyen's heart, there is only an unnamed emptiness. She gently holds her daughter's hand, as if borrowing that tiny warmth to soothe her own heart. "Maya, stay here with Mommy, okay? We'll wait for Uncle Diep to come back together." Her voice is soft, but trembles. Maya nods, resting her head on her mother's shoulder. Her eyes slowly close, drifting into sleep, while Huyen remains there, her gaze lost in the distance, where the road stretches endlessly. Far away, Diep struggles with his old motorbike, His hands, stained with oil, work to fix a loose chain. Each movement is heavy, but a spark still shines in his eyes. Faith and hope. That motorbike is not just a vehicle, but his only companion on the journey back to his loved ones. The sun above blazes like fire. Its rays burn down on the asphalt road, the heat rising as if to swallow everything. Sweat drips down Dee's suntanned cheeks, but he doesn't stop. Each turn of the wheel, each step forward, reminds him of what awaits. A home, two beloved people, and an unfulfilled promise. The road from south to north seems endless. Hills follow hills, curves, potholes, and dust blanket everything. Each stretch of road tests his will. Dee doesn't know how much farther he must go or when he'll arrive. But one thing he knows, he cannot stop. Because at the end of the road, Huyen and Maya are waiting. They are the only motivation that helps him overcome everything. Keep going, Day. Don't give up, he mutters to himself, his voice heavy with labored breaths. The words echo on the empty road, answered only by the wind and the old motorbike's rattling engine. As the sun sets, the sky painted red with dusk, Dee stops by a small house on the roadside. He knocks, hoping for a place to rest for the night. But when the door creaks open, the cold gaze of the homeowner makes him pause. Sorry, we don't take in strangers. The door shuts right after those words. Dee stands frozen, staring at the closed door, feeling loneliness seep into his heart. He has knocked on many doors, but each one has turned him away. People are afraid, suspicious, and all he has is his faith and his worn-out bike. Finally, he moves on, letting the streetlights cast his long shadow on the ground. Night falls, the silence broken only by the wind rustling through the grass and the distant hum of vehicles. This road is too long, Day thinks, his hands gripping the handlebars tightly. He remembers Huyen, Maya, the simple family dinners, and the little girl's clear voice calling him Uncle Day. Those memories become a flame warming him, keeping him from collapsing in the dark. He stops at a small park, where a stone bench sits under a dim yellow streetlight. Exhausted, Dee sits down, pulling a pack of biscuits from his backpack, prepared by Huyen. Their sweet scent fills the air, but they cannot fill the emptiness in his heart. He eats slowly, tasting the sweetness mixed with the salt of his tears. I wonder what Huyen and Maya are doing right now, he whispers softly. Looking up at the starry night sky, Day imagines Huyen sitting by the door, Maya sleeping peacefully in her mother's arms. That thought warms his heart, though his body is utterly drained. He leans back on the stone bench, eyes fixed on the vast sky. I'll come back, Huyen. I promise, Day whispers, his voice hoarse. Beside him, the motorbike rests quietly, like a loyal friend ready to continue the journey. In the darkness, only the soft wind blows, and the ember of faith still burns quietly in the heart of that man. The belief that as long as he doesn't give up, he will return to where he belongs. The night deepens. The pale yellow streetlight casts its glow on Dee's sun-tanned face, highlighting every trace of exhaustion. He lies still on the stone bench, gazing up at the vast night sky. Thousands of stars twinkle above, as if watching over the quiet, resilient journey of this man. A cold breeze sweeps through, making him shiver slightly. His thin jacket is no match for the chill of the highland night. Day pulls the collar tighter, closing his eyes briefly. In the darkness, images of Huyen and Maya appear vividly. The little girl's laughter, the gentle smile of the woman he loves. They are like a fire warming his weary heart. Just thinking of them makes all the fatigue worthwhile, he whispers, his voice raspy from a dry throat and the cold wind. The next morning, Dee wakes as the first rays of sunlight break through. The early light filters through the leaves, falling on his face, bringing a sense of renewal. He takes the last sips of water from his backpack, drinking sparingly, then starts the motorbike. It sputters a few times before roaring to life, its hoarse sound familiar and reassuring. Dee hits the road again. Ahead lies a long, winding slope through the hills. Each turn of the wheel brings him closer to home, to Huyen and Maya. He doesn't know how much longer the journey will take, only that stopping means giving up, and that's never been an option for him. The farther he travels, the more desolate the scenery becomes. The road is flanked by parched fields, sun-scorched trees standing bare and silent. Yet amid this harshness, Dee holds on to an unwavering faith. He believes in his promise. He believes that at the end of this road, Huyen and Maya's hearts are waiting for his return. Back in the small village house, Huyen continues to wait. This morning, sunlight bathes the brick courtyard, but her heart carries an unnamed emptiness. Maya plays with pebbles on the porch, while Huyen sits by the door, her eyes lost in the distance. Days have passed since Dee left. There's no news, no phone connection. Each time the wind whistles through the bamboo, she startles, thinking it might be the familiar sound of his motorbike approaching. But everything falls back into silence. He'll come back, won't he? Huyen asks herself, her voice dissolving into the air. That evening, she lights a small oil lamp on the table. Its faint, golden glow illuminates a family photo, where Dee smiles warmly, holding Maya. That smile brings tears to her eyes. For years, he has been her protector, her steady shoulder. But now, the long road is testing him, and her faith. Maya runs over, hugging her mother tightly. "Mommy, when will Uncle Dee come back? I want him to take me to the market." Huyen smiles, wiping her tears, and pulls her daughter into a tight embrace. "Soon, sweetheart. He'll be back soon." But in her heart, faith and fear intertwine. She believes in Dee's strength, but she also knows the harshness of the distant roads. Each night, Huyen silently prays, praying for the safety of her man, for the old motorbike to carry him through the tiring slopes. Far away, rain begins to fall. Heavy drops pelt the road, lashing against it fiercely. Dee pulls over, donning a thin raincoat, and presses on. The rain makes the road slick, mud splashing everywhere. But he doesn't stop. Whenever exhaustion threatens to overwhelm him, Dee closes his eyes and pictures Huyen's face, Maya's smile. Those images pull him forward, keeping his weary legs from giving out. The rain grows heavier. The slippery slope causes the bike to skid through mud and to falls hard to the ground. The motorbike tips over, its front wheel caught in a rock. Pain shoots from his knee, sharp and searing. He sits up, gasping, as the rain pours down like it's venting its fury on his weary body. But Dee refuses to stay down long. He forces himself up, lifts the bike, and checks the engine. His trembling hands, caked in mud, move with determination. He knows that lingering too long will let fear consume him. He starts the engine again. The hoarse sound roars through the rain like a silent vow. I have to make it back. Huyen is waiting. Maya is waiting. That night, as the rain subsides, he stops at a small roadside diner. The owner, a kind old man, sees Dee's weary appearance and invites him in to rest. "You look like you've been traveling your whole life without a break," the old man says with a smile, handing him a cup of hot tea. Dee smiles back, his voice hoarse with fatigue. "I'm just trying to get home. It's far, but I can't give up." The old man looks at him, his eyes full of empathy. "As long as your heart is set on that place, no matter how long the road, you'll get there. No journey is in vain if it leads you to peace." Dee bows his head in gratitude. The hot tea in his hands reminds him of Huyen, the woman who once stayed up all night just to wait for him after long trips. He knows he owes her a promise, and Maya a hug. The next morning, as he leaves the diner, the sky is clear again. Fresh sunlight glints off the wet road, sparkling like drops of hope. Dee takes a deep breath, inhaling the earthy scent after the rain, and grips the handlebars tightly. "It's still far, but I'll make it," he says softly, a faint smile on his lips. In the distance, mountains stretch endlessly, clouds drifting low over their peaks. The road winds like a silver thread guiding him home. Each turn of the wheel is a heartbeat, the heart of a man battling exhaustion, loneliness, and longing just to return to the arms of those he loves. At the other end of the journey, Huyen opens the window, gazing at the radiant sky. A gentle breeze carries the scent of earth after rain. Her heart suddenly beats faster, an odd feeling, like a premonition that day is closer than ever. "Darling, I'm still waiting," Huyen whispers, her voice blending with the wind, as if sending a message across the vast distance to the man steadfastly making his way home. The road may be long, but love, faith, and a promise will always be the light guiding Dee back to where he belongs. Huyen's embrace and Maya's smile. Day embarks on a long and lonely journey across endless roads,
Thực
driven
ra
by
một người
one
mẹ trẻ đang
promise:
cố hồi phục sau cơn
to
bệnh
return
tìm thấy sự
home
ấm
to
áp bất ngờ
Huyen
trong bóng
and
tối
little
của Alex,
Maya.
người
Through
đàn ông
scorching
lặng lẽ chăm
sun,
sóc cô và con
sleepless
cô tại
nights,
trang trại nông thôn
and
của anh.
countless
Nhưng cảm giác
obstacles,
bình yên mong manh
he
của cô
clings
vỡ
to
tan
hope
khi cô phát
and
hiện
the image
một
of his
xét nghiệm
small
DNA dấu
family
kín
waiting for
tiết
him.
lộ rằng cô không có quan hệ
Meanwhile,
huyết thống với
Huyen
Johnny,
endures the
không
silence
thể
of
liên
their
lạc
empty
với Alex
home,
và đối mặt với
holding
sự
Maya
phán xét lạnh
close
lùng từ chị
while
gái
her
anh.
heart battles
Từ ra
fear
cảm thấy
and
mình không
longing.
có chỗ trong cuộc sống của anh.
Both live
Cô viết
each
cho anh
day
một lá
with
thư
the
chia
same
tay đầy
thought:
cảm xúc, để
will
lại
we
chiếc
meet
điện
again
thoại
soon?
tặng anh.
But fate
Và
has its
lên
own
đường trong đêm
plans.
cùng con, quyết tâm
As night
không trở
falls
thành gánh
and
nặng.
Dee rests by the
Alex trở về
roadside,
nhà và phát
a
hiện cô đã
sudden
rời
sound
đi.
in the
Nhận
distance
ra quá
changes
muộn
everything.
rằng anh yêu cô sâu đậm.
Is it
Giữa cơn
danger,
mưa, anh tuyệt vọng tìm
or
kiếm
a
trong một
sign
đỉnh
that his
la,
journey is
trú
about to
ẩn tại
take a
một ngôi nhà
turn
hoang,
he
ôm
never
chặt lấy con và
expected?
bám víu vào tia